Hi all, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology, and today all things magnetic, alluring, Scorpio ascendant, diving into the ascendant as both how you see the world and how the world sees you. Although I know you are a Scorpio rising and you do not want to be perceived, but we are diving into the vibe that you put off, appearance indicators, priorities that you have as you embark in the world. The ascendant is severely underrated in terms of its importance. It's more than just a mask. It is one of the most important angles within astrology. So I'm so excited to dive into it fully. We're going backwards to this series. So in a couple of weeks, we'll do Libra ascendant. And if you gain any value from this video, if you could drop a like, comment, share, subscribe, only if I earn it, only if you enjoy the content. And without further ado, let's dive in. So of course, I had to do red lips to talk about Scorpio ascendant. So let's firstly discuss how you see the world. So you see the world through the deep, penetrative, gosh, I hate that word, but gaze of Scorpio lens. Like I think of ascendant as like the glasses that you are wearing when you look out at the world. There is not one thing Scorpio rising does lightly. They're either fully in or fully out. This is sort of an all or nothing lifetime for you, Scorpio rising. It's simply how you view the world. You view the world with this passionate tenacity. You don't do things lightly, and you aren't here to do things lightly at Scorpio rising. You are here to lead with passion. You are here to have that tunnel focus upon what it is that you find valuable, what it is that you merge into. This is not a lukewarm. You go full in or you go full out. So there can be a tendency for Scorpio risings to burn some bridges along the way, and that is okay. Obviously, try not to hurt anyone else, but this is sort of a lifetime where you're gonna burn some bridges. You're also gonna burn down yourself and rebuild. It's sort of a lifetime where there's this intensity, and if you cling to things, your journey here is in the beauty of letting go, the beauty of letting yourself transform, letting your connections transform. And like I said, this isn't a lukewarm lifetime. So if you have lukewarm connections, a lukewarm relationship to your job or your passion project, it's really better for Scorpio rising to sort of torch that and build something new. Obviously, try not to trample anyone else, but there can be a tendency for Scorpio rising to cling to a certain degree. And this isn't really a lifetime to cling. It's a lifetime of continually transforming, continually evolving as you go. And a quote I always think of when I think about Scorpio rising is, burn every bridge except for the one that leads to your greatest desire. Ooh, it's like that is the energy of Scorpio rising. Your power, your magnetism is in your commitment. You guys go all in. That intensity is going to be too much for a lot of people. But the right people will be inspired by it because there is this fierceness when it's a Scorpio rising. They can rebuild themselves. They can have every door slammed in their face and they can still keep going, which is why a lot of Scorpio risings do get their greatest desire. And I'm not saying destroy your own life in leading up to that, but I do want you to pay attention to when those doors close. And rather than like jamming your fist against the wall, because Scorpio rising can have a tendency towards doom and gloom, extremes of emotions, I want you to just think of that as, okay, that door did not open, time for the next one, time for the next one. That tenacity in it, being committed to your strongest desire. Again, not a lukewarm lifetime. This isn't a lifetime about just wading into the shallow end. This is about going over to the side of the pool, that's the deep end, and jumping right in and making it happen for yourself, allowing your desires to guide the way. It's interesting when I talk to Scorpio risings because it's almost like every decade of their life, they are a new person. And it's amazing to see. It's like they were super passionate about being in the circus and they did that for some time. And then they burned that down and started a new career as a pastry chef, burned that down, started a new identity as a stay-at-home mom, doing that fiercely and intensely. It's like give yourself the grace to transform and notice what your heart, what your desire is in and what it is out. And be okay with walking away from anything that your desire is no longer in. Clinging does not work for you within this lifetime. Your desire will guide the way. And as a Scorpio rising, there can be a degree of paranoia as you look over your life. Like I said, Scorpio rising is polarizing. And this is the lens by which you view the world. So when encountering new people, you are very intuitive and you can't even have some psychological ability to sort of suss someone out. It's like your friends will bring that person around you where everyone's like, oh, Lindsay, we love Lindsay. And you're just like, why am I getting a weird vibe off Lindsay? Like, you're not someone who gives it all away. You're not someone who's easy to impress. You sort of hold back until you can really suss it out. Keep in mind, you are governed by the Scorpion, and the Scorpion has a tough exoskeleton. It's shrewd, it's strategic, and it has a stinger. So if someone dare cross you, or even worse, cross a loved one, because the Scorpio loyalty knows no bounds, that tail will flick, which is why this ascendant has such an intimidating vibe sometimes. And that's the way you like it. You don't need every person to like you. You're gonna elicit extremes of impressions. People are gonna love you, be obsessed with you, or detest you on the spot. That has more to do with them than it does with you. Because again, it's that fullness, right? That fullness of desire, that fullness, I love you or I hate you. There is no in between, and that is okay. And when you meet new people, you suss them out, you are incredibly intuitive, you have an incredible psychological sort of an analysis in how it is that you see people, how it is that you see situations, that allows your gut to be a really strong guide in pursuing the opportunities that you want, the connections that you want. Really follow what your desire is and the intuitive hit that you get on those sort of connections. Now, let's talk about how the world sees you, because Scorpio rising, even though you're so mysterious, I will say is one of the easiest to typically spot, because they'll look at you like, the Scorpio rising stare, the Scorpio rising stare. They have this stare, and it's almost like their eyes are just soaking up every part of your being. I'm almost like, oh my gosh, stop undressing me with your eyes. And it's not to say that it's necessarily sexual. It's just that they have this penetrative gaze where it's almost like, are you seeing into my soul and all of my secrets? Because this is super intense. Scorpio rising gaze is typically an easier way to tell. Typically, they'll sort of have what I've noticed, a more square shaped face. I've typically noticed that they tend to have sort of like broad shoulders, particularly in men, but I've seen it in a couple of women. Sometimes there's like sort of a bow-leggedness within their legs, and the eyes will tell you everything. They have this smoldering gaze. They have this natural magnetism, this natural allure, and they're gonna hold back. Like when you connect with a Scorpio rising, you'll get this sensation like, oh wow, yeah, they're not telling me everything, but they're asking me a lot about me, right? Like Scorpio rising does have this mystery about them, which makes them incredibly alluring, incredibly magnetic. You'll want to learn more about them, or you could find that you detest them on the spot. You know, like I said, Scorpio rising can bring up an extreme of emotions. Brows are typically defined. Sometimes they have really big brows or really defined brows, kind of a square shaped forehead, square shaped jaw. Stunning, typically very symmetrical. I've noticed, particularly with women, really luscious lips, like very, very like, and they hold back. Their countenance holds back, their posture holds back. And it's sort of the sort of holding back where you're like, wait, I want to know more about you, which is why they're so alluring, because they don't give it all away. They don't necessarily need you to like them. They sort of hold back and they're sussing you out, which makes you a little bit more enticed to want to know more about them. Typically, I found that they're drawn aesthetic-wise to blacks, fishnets, red lipstick, you know, the scorpionic type looks, darker colors, more intensity to it. I tried to do my Scorpio rising thing, but of course, you know, some of my own style. I don't know if every Scorpio rising would be down for a high pony. They typically have sort of a more sultry look, darker colors, as I mentioned, sort of staples. They don't need to look like everyone else. Something that really accentuates their eyes. Scorpio rising gaze is so funny to me. But all in all, Scorpio risings are intensely magnetic. You'll want to know more about them. They have this lens when viewing life that they are all or nothing. They follow their desires. They are willing to rebirth themselves. And every time they rebirth, they arise even stronger, which is why they are so wise, so psychological, and typically have an interest in more like occult, psychological, new age topics because they're looking for the deeper secrets in life. They don't take anything surface level. They want to know your soul. They want to know that subject to its core. They do all things with all of them or not at all. So this makes this ascendant such a magnetic one to see within a chart. It can indicate having a pretty intense life, feeling things very intensely, having to go through many transformations, many evolutions, having to address one's own psychology to build oneself back up. But it does create some of the most mysterious, alluring figures within the zodiac. So friends, let me know what resonated below if you are a Scorpio rising or if you know a Scorpio rising within your life. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCommentAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I'd love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.